Coco Republic very much focuses on outdoor as a very big part of our range.
Yep.
Because it's what we all want. We want to be able to
Australian lifestyle.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
the
We're at the
Australian
back.
lifestyle,
Yep.
and it's all about having those beautiful outdoor spaces that you can get out to and enjoy.
Hi guys, welcome back to Property Chat with Lachy and Matt. We're still here at Coco Republic's absolutely incredible showroom, and I think it's absolutely taken us by surprise coming here, just the diverse range of furnishings that are in this place. I think you'll agree, Matt. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
So incredible place to pop down and even just take a walk around, really.
Yeah.
And we were talking about in the last episode, of course, a little bit about what Coco Republic does, what you can offer from a styling standpoint. But what we really wanted to talk about in this episode was maybe those people who are thinking about doing a little bit of styling to their home. Maybe they're not perhaps selling. They've got a small budget, maybe $2,000-3,000 to really just up the level of style in their home. What are perhaps some of the areas that you can suggest for them to focus on and some of the things that can really have the maximum impact?
Sure. I think speaking about areas to focus on is really important. I mean, to me, your key areas are your main living areas where you spend most of your time, and also probably the master bedroom of the home and possibly the outdoor areas. Certainly they're key selling points, but also the reason they're key selling points is because that's where the lifestyle factor of a home really exists. So I think if you focus on those areas and not try to smatter your budget over an entire property is probably the first good bit of advice. So I think starting with, say, a living room, again, look at how the space is working. Have you got too much furniture in there? Stand back, look at the room, feel the flow of the room. Is it being blocked by a too large chair in a walkway or something? Perhaps try removing a piece rather than adding more to the room as an initial starting point, because people tend to overfill and get scale sometimes a little bit wrong. So stand back and say, edit the room and feel, if you have that ability to do that, feel a balance. That'd be the starting point. Now, when you're left with, you can have quite an old sofa that is perfectly functional and nice and neutral, say, but one of the biggest tips is to accessorise. So even when we're styling properties, until we do that final sweep of accessories over all the surfaces, it never quite has the flavour that it does once your art goes up and your accessories are in. So beautiful scatter cushions would be a really big tip. Nice plump feather-filled scatter cushions to layer up the sofa with a lovely throw across the sofa. A nice stack of books and a key accessory item on a coffee table.
It's all the little bits and pieces, isn't it?
It's all the little bits and pieces. Some nice mood lighting, so a beautiful lamp on a side table, or creating an ambience in the room. Mirrors are a wonderful trick if you've got a dark room or a room that's not terribly big, but putting up a big mirror above a sofa. And mirrors can be relatively cheap and really transform a room.
What about lighting?
Yes, lighting's really important. I mean, like I mentioned, mood lighting is a big thing. So more freestanding pieces like a floor lamp or a table lamp is really nice. Candles, scents are a big thing in the home, just for everyday living. Greenery is a huge thing. It's a very big on-trend thing at the moment is greenery throughout a home. I mean, it's always been lovely, but bringing that outside in, you'll notice through our showroom we've got plants everywhere.
Yeah.
It's huge. So even if it's just that one special potted plant in a corner, bringing that life into a room is a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
A very cheap way to transform a space is with a coat of paint. I mean, there is no better way to freshen up a space than a fresh coat of paint. And, if you're into DIY, that can be a relatively cheap thing to do. It's certainly when we're looking at a property, people say, oh, I'm thinking about renovating the kitchen before I sell, or I'm thinking of renovating the bathroom. They're all big ticket items. They're expensive. They're not necessarily going to be to the taste
extremely personal.
Extremely personal.
Yeah.
Maybe you're better off just freshening the whole house up with a coat of paint, maybe change the floor coverings.
What's your go-to colour?
I'll go to colour for being a property stylist, we always go for a nice, simple, light neutral always. Yeah. So to be one of the myriad of whites.
Yeah.
But there's white and there's white. There's very cool whites, there's warm whites, there's green-based whites, there's,
anything that sort of offsets the ceiling, I think looks amazing.
Exactly. That's right. I mean, antique white USA, Dulux colour was all the rage, and it's still a great colour. Natural white from Dulux is a great colour. It's a slightly warmer white. Whisper white from Dulux, slight hint of green in it, so it's lovely to bring an outdoor space in. And
I'm glad you still like that white, because that's what colour my house is.
I
was
love
just thinking
white.
in my head, I better stop by and get some paintbrushes.
Mine's whisper white as well. So white base is a great start, you do have to take into account what all your joinery is as well. So sometimes your kitchen cupboards will be polyurethane or finish, and you don't want a slightly yellow-based polyurethane to sit next to a cool-based white.
I think that's important, isn't it? Taking into consideration what's already there.
Exactly.
Because you can work with a home in terms of if you've got I've seen some properties styled really, really cleverly recently with quite older bathrooms, quite older kitchens, 60s, 70s kitchens, and they've got some pretty funky colours. Yeah. But you can style around almost anything really, can't you?
Absolutely, you definitely can. And I think those things bring character to a property. And can I say are definitely becoming more on trend. Yeah. The trend is definitely moving away from more minimal interiors to a much more layered, a bit more colour coming in. Yes, exactly. It's gone from that stark minimalism that was several years ago now, but people are much. I mean, our homes now are definitely being more used as a bit of a. It's where we live, obviously, but we're spending a lot more time in our homes, being quarantined, etc. So it's actually been a good thing from a business point of view, because, people are spending money doing up their homes and furnishing their spaces, and they're spending a lot of time there, and they want to have that. They want it to be their sanctuary.
Yeah. Well, you notice it when you walk around here that everything seems to be a little bit more lush. The textures, really, really rich colours. So is that something which you're seeing a lot more of now, especially like from a texture standpoint? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, those rustic timbers. We're sitting on these. It's a faux leather, very, very functional, but it's another textural change in a room. Yeah. Beautiful sisal floor rugs or rugs for a more formal area that have a slight silk component to them. So all these balance of different textures. If you walk through our showroom and see our lighting range, there's, as you mentioned, lighting is so important. And often just having that one special piece in a room is all a room needs. Not everything has to be special. You can have a relatively cheap sofa and team it back with a stunning coffee table.
Because you can work everything off
you can work it, or a stunning piece of art, and everything around it. I was with a client the other day and I said, this room looks amazing. And she'd bought a relatively cheap sofa, but it was what she'd paired it back with. Yeah. She'd done some really stunning pendant lights and a beautiful bone inlay coffee table in the room, and it just set everything off, So you don't have to spend a huge amount of money to achieve a beautiful look and feel in a home. And like I mentioned, outdoor spaces are so hugely important, and Coco Republic very much focuses on outdoor as a very big part of our range. Yep. Because it's what we all want. We want to be able to
Australian lifestyle.
It's the Australian lifestyle, and it's all about having those beautiful outdoor spaces that you can get out to and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, you'd see it, Matt, as an agent, as do I. It's an outdoor space that isn't dressed up, it's not furnished correctly, it's not seen as an extension of the living space. That's right. But if you've got a really good yard and it's really designed properly, people go, look at all the extra living space there is. They see it as being
flowed
part
with
of
another table or a lounge suite.
Exactly.
Like that.
That's right. That's right.
My question would be, that's for all the clients that don't have the budget, there's some really good tips there and things that they can take out of it. But if you did have the budget, I know for a lot of people that we meet, they come through our styled homes just to get some inspiration for themselves.
Yeah.
Even for me, I go home to my house and go, maybe I should put some work on the walls at some point.
That's
you know, it's kind of like that same thing where they say a chef doesn't cook at home. It's pretty similar to the real estate agent. So if you did have the budget, could you engage someone like Coco Republic to come out and help you with actually purchasing some of the obviously, you know, I know the showroom pieces and then designing around what it looks like? Because I know for me, you know, unlike Lachy, I don't have that ability to go and pick out a suit jacket and a nice tie. And I just pick what's online,
come on,
right?
You're looking sharp.
But, you know, you can get overwhelmed so easily. You can get overwhelmed so easily.
Yeah,
you know,
of
you
course.
can go in and you'll... I'm so bad for it. You'll walk in and you'll see an abundance of different cushions and colours. Like on the wall right behind Lachy right now, there's so many different cushions and colours and wouldn't know where to start.
Yes.
So,
it's very much a big thing. People get terribly overwhelmed and they go out and shoot from the cuff and start, oh, buy that, I'll buy that, I'll buy that. And they end up with pieces that they regret.
Yeah, it becomes Art Deco.
And what they thought they were doing is saving money. Yes.
Yeah.
But they thought they might have been saving some money by you know, not engaging somebody, but they're making costly mistakes by buying the wrong pieces. Yeah. So with Coco Republic, we offer, if someone was to come into the showroom, we offer a home decoration service. It's $500. For our property styling clients, it's complimentary. And for that, you will meet with a designer. They'll put together 3 key areas of your home, drop it into a floor plan, show you how it looks. If you have special pieces that you want to keep yourself, they'll drop those into the floor plan and show you how the spaces work. Yeah. They'll take you around the showroom, see what you like, put together a scheme for you so you have a grand plan. Obviously, they'll talk about budget with you. You know, your budget might be here, your budget might be there.
Yeah.
And
your taste might be here, and like me,
the
budget
that's
might
right.
be here.
That's right. But and then we will suggest a scheme for you. So we'll take a brief basically in the showroom, and the girls will put together a beautiful scheme, present it to you. It can be through that service, not so much, you know, wall colours, wallpapers, carpets, finishes, not so much, but that is a service we definitely can offer through our interior design team. We can do full design projects, full finishes schedules for an entire project, whether it be a commercial project, a multi-residential, or even a commercial hotel situation. We have that ability through our various divisions, business divisions within Coco Republic to meet pretty much any design need. But for the average, you know, person wanting to make their home beautiful, 100% that's what we do. And the showroom's very inspirational. You can walk through and see, oh, I love the way this setting feels here, and you know, how can we achieve that? Well, you've already got 2 beautiful linen sofas. Let's find you a coffee table or gorgeous side tables and lamps, art, and show them how to put it all together. And whether they go with everything, some people might just go, well, you know, our budget at the moment, we can only afford to focus on one area. Let's do the living room now, but then next year when we get that next bonus or whatever the case might be, we'll tackle the dining area. And they've got a grand plan. They know where they're headed with something, and they're not going to make mistakes, and they'll end up with a beautiful result. Having said that, if they've got the budget, go to town. We can do whatever you want, you know, and have it all. Our furniture is very bespoke, so you can custom. It's not. It's everything pretty much everything on the floor can come in any different fabric. So it can be very individual and made very bespoke. One of our marketing expressions is we create breathtaking interiors, and people are very house proud, and they want to show off their home, and whether it just be a little 1-bedroom flat or a gigantic estate-like property, we're all proud of where we live, or we want to be proud of where we live.
The best properties I've seen have been 1-bedroom apartments in the city, you know, incredible styling jobs.
That's right, that's right. So it really then just comes down to making sure your proportions are right, and that's what not only will, so there's the technical side of making sure it's all working from a space point of view, and then there's the creative side of pulling together a scheme that you might not have thought of.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to describe what it is that they like, but they know it when they see it.
Yes, that's right.
So you have a way of sort of getting that out of them, essentially.
Exactly. When we take the brief, that's exactly what we're doing, and being able to walk them through a showroom like Coco Republic's, and they go, oh, I love that. Oh, I'm not so keen on that. Very quickly you understand what a person's style is, you know, and what appeals to them. Some clients say, I don't care, just do whatever you think.
Yeah, trust you
They're
enough.
rare, but we do enjoy those clients because, you know,
it's
that
probably your best work, I would imagine, too, when you're not being sort of pushed or pulled in a different
from
direction.
a personal point of view, I suppose, because, you know, you get to express yourself and do what, and it always comes together beautifully, and inevitably you have a very happy client. But that's not the usual case. People
want to have a hand in it.
Yeah, it's their home. It's also very important how people are going to live in the space.
Yeah.
It's not just all looking beautiful. It's got to be functional as well. So all of that's very important in the brief side of taking the brief. How are you going to use this room? Who lives in this house? You know, how often do you entertain? Like, who's coming through the spaces? So all of that's very, very important to make
Big
a house work.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one question a lot of people would have is, what about kids? You know, say, look, we'd love to have all this beautiful furniture, but is that something you take into consideration in terms of functionality? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, you're not going to put, you know, extremely white sofas in a house full of kids. You know, there is such a thing called a big throw, which so when the
safe spills and things. So,
yes, they're often a very functional thing, but people tend, it's got to be family friendly. But there are some spaces people tend to use their homes these days. They're not just showpieces.
Yeah.
You know, remember in the old days there used to be the formal room. That's the good room. And the kids aren't allowed in the good room.
I don't think the sofas have ever been used in my parents' good room, to be honest.
That's right. And sometimes I've even gone into houses where the plastic is still on some of the sofas. You know?
My grandfather did that. He's very Maltese, and his round red couches had all these plastic bits on them, and as a kid you weren't allowed to sit on them.
No, that's right. Whereas now every space gets used, and well, usually in a home, that's the idea of it, you know, a space for mum and dad to be, but the kids are allowed there as well. But yes, definitely. I mean, when you're considering casual dining chairs, for instance, something like this that you can scrub off with a cloth and soapy water, and kids can be going to town with the spaghetti bolognese on them, and it's not going to be an issue, you know. That's very important, and that's all part of the brief. Like, who lives here? It's all about selecting the right fabrics, the right pieces. You don't want a table that's a pristine finish that you can't put a hot mug on. Oh my goodness! Don't put your coffee mug down.
Or the schoolwork.
Or the schoolwork, or any of that.
You
know, something with a bit of rustic charm goes a long way when it's the family table. You know that all those marks and scratches and scrapes are part of the character of it. That develop over time. The patina. The patina of time.
Well, how often are people, like, let's maybe talk about some of the more higher budgets. How often are people changing this look and feel? Is it something which is very fluid, or do you find that they really go to town with it but try and pick things that will stand the test of time?
A lot of I think it's nice to have certain pieces that stand the test of time.
Okay.
We've got a range. I mean, we've got various ranges here. We've got our Coco Republic range. We've got our Ollie San Francisco range. We've got Timothy Alton. I mean, they're probably the main brands throughout the showroom. But the Ollie range, for instance, it's all beautiful, bespoke, handmade, to order pieces of furniture that you're not going to discard from year to year. They're very transitional pieces that will sit beautifully in your McMahon's Point harbourfront home, or in your country home, or even in your beach house. So they're pieces that you would want to hang on to because they're crafted pieces, that are just beautiful, that aren't going to be necessarily too on trend, so I think with those high-end budgets, people do like to change things up relatively regularly, but maintain the key pieces. That is the good design. That's when good design comes in, that one special piece can remain in the room and you can change everything around it to give it a completely different look and feel.
So it sounds like the advice is pick really good key pieces
Yes.
and then accessorize, and that can be fluid.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. I mean, when you're sick of the greens and aquas in the room, get rid of those and bring in something warmer for winter, some warmer colours, the burnt oranges and the khakis, and, you can really change the look and feel of a room the way it's accessorised, definitely, and the art, So,
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. I think we've all got some really good styling tips there and certainly some things to take away. Thanks again to Realhub for setting this all up for us. I know Frank puts a lot of effort into this, so thanks again. And
Thanks, Frank.
guys, look forward to seeing you on the next episode.